welcome back to Sports on Taps, our Ohio high school football coverage. Week 4 recaps.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm Rob Trout. We have Josh Jeffy, head Dick Sean Duffy. And right now we're going to send it over to Sean Duffy, who's going to give us our recap with the Buckeye Bucks as they took on Lutheran West. I believe they're the Longhorns.
Yes, and in week 3, a lot of Buckeye fans may have been a little nervous because that game against Cloverleaf was closer than they may have wanted. But those worries may have been soothed by the week 4 result here. Buckeye went into Lutheran West and dismantled Lutheran West 48-0. It was all Buckeye all night. Anything they wanted to do, they were able to do, whether it was on the air, on the ground, or through the air. Quarterback Adam Falver had a fantastic night. 4 of 8 passes for 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. The guy was on fire. Running backs Dominic Monaco and Alex Beer also had rushing touchdowns for the Bucks. And not to be outdone, the Buckeye defense returned to form, holding Lutheran West to a total of 63 yards total for the game. I'm talking 63 yards. That's not just passing or not just running. That's total yards. In fact, rushing yards for the opponent were at a negative 8 yards rushing for Lutheran West. They could not get anything going against this Buckeye Bucks defense. Buckeye now 4-0, and they will travel to take on Columbia in Week 5. And guys, we will announce it here. That's right. The Buckeye-Columbia game is our Week 5 game of the week. You are getting a heap and help in a Sports on Tap coming to the Columbia Stadium when the Buckeye Bucks take on Columbia. We will be there. Rob will be on the sideline with his camera, so please throw gloves at him. He loves that when that happens to him. I will be in the booth taking care of social media and also writing an article and getting stats from the wonderful stats people from the Buckeye and from Columbia. So we will be there in full force, well, somewhat full force, on a Friday night, and we will do our best to give the sights and sound of the game between Buckeye and Columbia.
Yeah, looking at our game of the week preview here, Columbia right now 3-1.
Yep.
On the year. The only loss they had, and it came to Kirtland. They're 4-0. They did beat a good Independence team who was 3-1. They beat Northwestern, and they just beat Keystone 48-34. Brandon Coleman is their main guy, the running back for the Columbia Raiders. He had 282 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns last week against Keystone. And I'll tell you what, they're an impressive team. Jason Ward is their head coach. He's been there a long time. He's done a lot of great things with the Columbia Raiders. But Coleman, he rushed 33 times, 282 and 6 touchdowns against Keystone. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah,
Coach Dennison at Buckeye, that's going to be a great game.
Look, Buckeye, a win is a win in any sport. But Buckeye, up until last week's game, was cruising. Ran into a rough patch against Cloverleaf. Cloverleaf was a pretty tough out for them, and they were able to overcome a lackluster performance, and really kind of eke that one out. And then this week, they just kudos to Coach Dennison for refocusing that team and saying, look, let's play the Buckeye way. Let's play with the way we've been playing all year and just dominate, and that's exactly what they did. Lutheran West was no pushover. They had a quarterback that threw for 300 yards the week before, and to hold them to 63 yards total, I'm not going to stop saying that because that's impressive. It's going to be interesting because Buckeye has a way, I believe, of making of really focusing on who the good players are and, stifling them or focusing on them enough to say, you're not going to beat us. You may beat us another way, but we're not going to let you do what you want to do against us. And that's been their philosophy. Even going back to last year when Coach Pinzoni was there, you're not going to beat the Bucks doing what you normally do. You're going to have to find a way to beat them in an unconventional way or not a way that you're not used to. So that's very, very impressive to me. Quarterback Adam Falver is making up for a lost year, and he's doing it every single week. The guy's a leader. I'm excited to watch this offense. I'm excited to see how Columbia responds. We could have a shootout. We could have a 10-3 game. All I know is I'm looking forward to seeing the atmosphere at Columbia this week, and those Buckeye Buck fans are going to be in droves coming out to that game.
Well, with Buckeye, they like to run the football. Columbia likes to run the football, but Columbia's defense, they just gave up 34 points against Keystone. You know, how are they going to stop the Buckeye offense? And Buckeye's defense, we know, is pretty impressive. They don't give up a ton of points, but they're going up against a very good Columbia offense. So, I mean, it goes both ways, which team's going to run the ball better, I think, when it comes to it, or are we going to see a surprise, and are they going to pass the football? I think it's going to be a smash-mouth running football game. It's just going to see which defense is going to be able to contain the running game a little bit more than the other.
Well, you have the added benefit of having Adam Favre back for Buckeye. I mean, he was their quarterback last year, as we've talked about, and he got hurt in week 1. So that did – they obviously were still able to have a great year last year and make it to the playoffs, but they were essentially reduced to being a one-dimensional team. You have that added element now with Favre being able to pass the ball. You still have Justin Kennedy, running the ball like crazy. Monaco. So you still have, you're a little more diversified this year than maybe you were last year.
Yeah.
So you give Buckeye maybe a little bit of an edge on that part. In that, unlike last year, where they could pass the ball if they needed to, the passing is a viable option here, and if they need to win a game passing the ball, they have the capability of doing so.
That's absolutely correct, Ed. I mean, if you look at it and you look at the way these games for Buckeye is trending, if they're having success on the ground, there's no reason to put the ball in the air. But they have the ability to. They have the ability to stretch the field if needed. But they're running a very much more of a pro-style offense to where they can run and set up play action. And now, we just talked about it, when you sell out to stop the run, you leave your corners and your safeties, vulnerable to getting beat in the middle, to getting beat one-on-one. And if a guy like Favre, who when he passes, he's accurate. 4 of 8. You only ask him to throw 8 times. You complete 50% of your passes, and that's an off night for him. But again, he's also running, so he's a dual threat. So you almost have to commit a safety or even a corner to spy, or a linebacker to spy him, because he could hand it off to Monaco. He could hand it off to Beer Kennedy around the end, or he could tuck and take it himself, and he's just as good as a runner. So, I think this Buckeye team is dangerous on all facets. Special teams, defense, but it's particularly offense, because they know they can run the ball, and if they have success, they're going to keep going until you stop them. And when you stop them, then they can seemingly flip the switch and go pass. And I don't know if Columbia has the defense, because like you said, they gave up 34 points. And if you let a team like Buckeye get rolling, it's tough to stop them. So I'm very interested to see how this game starts for both teams. I think if Buckeye's able to have early success, it could spell out a bad night for Columbia. But if Columbia can stop, a Buckeye first drive, I think we're good. I think they feel they can compete and go from there. So, again,
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I'm
Columbia,
and I'm really looking forward to going
country.
out. I'm going out to Columbia. I've never been there, so I'm interested to see how that stadium works.
It's right off of 82.
Yeah.
I've been there for basketball games, and I've talked to Coach Ward. He's always excited. They get a good crowd there. Like you said, Buckeye travels well.
Yeah,
it's going to be an absolute fun game to be a part of.
It's going to be a beautiful night too, weather-wise.
Yeah, Columbia's a very tight-knit community. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very packed house. You'll see a lot of people at that game. As you said, Buckeye travels very well, and you got 2 very, very good teams that are be going at it, and it's a crossover division league for the PAC. Right before you get into conference play here. Another team to look out for in the PAC. 2 more teams actually, at least in Buckeye's division. You have Oberlin Firelands is 4-0. And Sullivan Black River, the Pirates out running their triple option. They are also 4-0. So a lot of great teams going on in the PAC for both divisions, and this is just one of those marquee matchups that you're going to start seeing here over the course of the next couple of weeks.
So if you see Rob running up and down the sidelines with a camera attached to his chest,
don't throw anything at me.
Throw something at him. I mean, the guy,
smile, wave,
the guy,
he's
a magnet for equipment, and I mean, he takes it all in stride. And that's what I like about Rob Troutman. He'll take a glove to the face and keep going because he's got to get that shot.
That's right.
And he'll also and if you're the band, go nuts because Rob will film you.
Yeah, you'll get – this is we'll get video highlights of the game. We'll have a nice write-up by Sean.
Yep.
So you'll be all over social media at SOT Podcast, SportsOnTapPodcast.com, our Facebook page.
Hashtag SOTHSF, NEO Sports Insiders,
yep.
And even a hit on ESPN.
Oh, yeah, we'll be should be on ESPN High School Hysteria as well on Friday night, giving them updates along the day. Not sure about WEOL yet. That's usually, we'll confirm that probably Friday or so. But, again, our game of the week, the 4-0 Buckeye Bucks. They travel to Columbia, the 3-1 Columbia Raiders. Your game of the week this week. Again, video highlights are right up and everything. It'll be a lot of fun, so be a part of our coverage, Sports on Tap at
Yes,
SOT
sir.
Podcast. All right, guys, week 4 in the books. Any last thoughts before we wrap up the show?
Sure do. We'll go down to the Dayton area once again to give our update on Fayetteville Perry, the Rockets down there. They are now 4-0 on the season. Coach Kevin Finch has that team playing very well. They had a 26-0 victory over Hillcrest Academy. They're going to they have a crossover game in the Southern Buckeye Conference. Fayetteville is in the National Division. They're going to be playing the American Division member Batavia this week. They're a 3-1 squad before they get into conference and division play. In week 5 and week 6 going forward. So very, very excited for Coach Finch down there. Congratulations to a nice start so far.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they can maintain that momentum and get to week 11. They are 2-time defending conference champions from a previous conference, but they just haven't been able to accumulate enough computer points to get into the playoffs. So hopefully they'll be able to keep that roll on. Coach Finch can coach in week 11 this year.
And my alma mater, the Vandalia Butler Aviators, dropped a tough loss to our hated rival, the Northmont Thunderbolts, 48-13. They fall to 1-3 on the season. It's been a tough go of it. They were they hung tough with Perry, blew out Tecumseh in week 2, but 2 blowout losses to Wilmington and Northmont. They're at Stebbins this week. Hopefully they can right the ship, but definitely disappointing loss against Northmont. You never want to lose to that team because, again, they're Northmont. No one cares. But
I'm going to take it you didn't get out to the game then.
Well, actually, I did not realize this. The game was a Thursday night game, and it was on TV. So I was going to go to the game, but I didn't get into Vandalia until Friday. So
Gotcha. Very cool.
So.
Well, great job, guys. Want to thank everyone for listening. This is our Ohio High School football coverage for Sports on Tap. Brad Dick, Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy. I'm Rob Troutman. Have a great week, everyone. Good luck on Week 5.